Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk's MLB update. How's everybody doing this afternoon? It's a Friday. The weekend's upon us. The WBC's upon us. We had a couple of games yesterday, I guess today, where they were played in Australia. The Japanese win big early this morning. Ohtani was Ohtani. We got a very surprising 1-1 game going on here in the bottom of the sixth, Mexico and Great Britain. Fun game there. Harry Ford, I believe it was Harry Ford, just tied the game up with a home run for the Brits. And they had pitched out of a jam here in the top of the sixth. Mexico was challenging. So some great stuff here. But we'll take your comments on the WBC and all things Major League Baseball as we kick off what I think will be a fun, I don't know what it is, 2 weeks, 10 days, a lot of games packed into just a few weeks. We've got double headers being played. Czechia played a double header yesterday in Australia. Chinese Taipei or Taiwan, as you might better know it, playing a doubleheader today after they got mercy ruled. I don't think we call it the mercy rule, but they got mercy ruled in game one this morning against Japan. It was 13-0 after 7, and I think it's 10 runs after 7 or 15 runs after 6. You stop it, except for the semifinals and finals. We know a little bit more, I think, about the USA rotation. Logan Webb will start tonight against Brazil. Skubal will go in game, I think Skubal's going game 2, Paul Skeens in game 3. And the way it's, and Nolan, the Mets pitcher, Nolan McLean will pitch, I believe, the 4th game for the U.S. and would be scheduled to pitch in the finals. Skeens would pitch it. The way it's set up right now anyway, Paul Skeens, assuming they're there, would pitch in the semifinals. And Nolan McLean, the rookie sensation last year for the Mets, would pitch the final if things stand up the way that Mark DeRosa has it set up right now. So we're set up for a couple exciting. If you're like me and exhibition baseball is exhibition baseball, it means nothing. MLB exhibition games. Some people will say these are exhibitions, but they mean something. It's international competition. This is important to these players and to these fans. So again, this is not exhibition baseball in the sense that, Major League Baseball exhibition season is, right? These games matter. I think this is going to be an interesting series. Great Britain, by the way, much better uniforms. The lettering is not falling off the Brits' uniforms so far this year. We'll take a look at that. We'll rank the uniforms as well because it's been done. So we'll take a look at it. I think we did the same thing last year. I really like Team USA's uniforms, by the way. And I have ordered my cap, which was not cheap, but I thought I should have one. So that should be here probably another week or so. Anyway, I'm really excited about what we're about to see here. The pool play, is what it is. You get some mismatches, although some of these teams from Europe are getting stronger. Like I said, the Brits tied 1-1 with Mexico is not a little deal. The Netherlands hanging with Venezuela 6-2 right now in the top of the ninth. In that game, as I said, we know about Japan winning 13-0. Only one hit for Chinese Taipei. They broke up that no-hitter, I think, in the 6th inning. It would have been the second no-hitter in WBC play. And elsewhere, Cuba beat Panama 3-1. In that Japanese game, Japanese game. Yeah, Japan and I'm going to say Taiwan. Yamamoto started, only went like 2 2/3 or so. Again, some of these guys are going to be on pitch limits because of where we are early in the spring. You may see it more from the guys who are Major League Baseball players, which probably constitute about 50% of these rosters. You're going to see some pitch counts just because. That's why the pitching rosters are so deep for most of these teams because guys aren't going to go deep into these games. Let me just check a couple other box scores. Anybody go deep into games for anybody? The Cuban starter went 3 2/3. Allen went 3 innings for Panama. Again, a lot of starters, so you're going to see a lot of pitchers pitching here, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited, and I think, listen, if you like baseball and games that matter, we got some. We got an exciting game going on right now. As I said, it's 1-1, Mexico and Great Britain in the bottom of the 6th. I've caught the last 3-4 innings of this game, and it's been there's been some good baseball played here. And as I said, the Japanese off to a great start. As far as a couple of guys who are scheduled to play, Jeremy Pena will not play for the Dominican Republic because of a thumb injury. I believe it's a thumb injury or finger injury. Is a finger or thumb, by the way? I had this conversation with my wife all the time. I say no, you have 4 fingers and a thumb. She says we have 5 fingers. I don't know. But he's out, and for a much different reason, Jurickson Profar will not play for the Netherlands, and they're scrambling as he was suspended by Major League Baseball for the entire season for his second performance-enhancing drug suspension in 2 years. His brother will continue to play for the Netherlands, and they're playing today, and they've had to scramble to replace Profar in that lineup as he's not only suspended from Major League Baseball, but also, and there's a guy out by about 10 feet at home. I might have held that guy up. Great throw from the outfield. And the Brits miss a great chance to potentially take the lead here. Exciting game. Outside the WBC, what's going on? And again, maybe I'm the only guy excited here. I've had very little feedback from guys on the shows when we've done this. So most of it positive. I know some fans don't want their players to be put in harm's way, but, they need to play. You need to play for your country. And pool play is as I said, the European countries are catching up and playing much better. But the Japanese showed their strength today early on. Elsewhere, by the way, yesterday's games that I failed to mention the scores of. Sorry about that. Nothing surprising here. As I said, Czechia had a doubleheader with Korea in game number 1. They lost 11-4, and they lost to Australia 5-1. So that was the kickoff. Those games were both in Australia. The games we're watching today, I believe, are being played where? Let's see. We're in, I want to say Puerto Rico, but I could be wrong about that. Let's see. Pool. So we're watching. Who are we watching? This is pool. This is actually the USA's pool. Pool B. They're playing these games in Houston, Great Britain, and Mexico right now. So lots of fun. There were a couple of stories, I guess, more closely associated with, and I'm going to go back to the WBC as we watch more of this game. And I want to talk about uniforms. I love talking about WBC uniforms. The union head, the MLB union head, did respond to a poll. MLB put out, not shockingly, they did their own poll that says that fans, is it overwhelming? Let's see, 14,000 respondents last month. 68% they're in favor were in support of bringing a cap and floor system into baseball. I'm going to say this, and I've said the same thing a few times. Danny Fuller, good afternoon to you, by the way. Danny, and I have had these discussions about salary caps and spending, and I would like to see some tweaks made. I don't really want salary caps, though, necessarily. I'd like to see some tweaks where we can't just you can't just put money out into the, forever, but maybe that doesn't matter either. Maybe that would help these smaller market teams contend if they would just get a little more creative with their accounting. I'm more concerned about a floor than a cap, quite frankly. And these 14,000 respondents did also say that they were in favor of a floor. And Danny and I have been on the same page here. And not just because he's a Dodger fan and I'm a Yankees fan. I mean, teams can put their own caps on. I'm okay with that as long as you're trying. I mean, we talked about the fact that $160 million floor was suggested, and we talked about it last week. There's like 12 or 14 teams, maybe more than that, below that number now. Almost half the league basically is below where the floor would be. So if you're not going to try, and those teams are all making money, and they're taking their revenue sharing or their luxury tax money, whatever you want to call it, and not reinvesting it. If you're not going to try to win, then get out. That's just my opinion. But this isn't going to play well, right? I mean, again, the union wouldn't like this. We talked about it. If teams fail and go out of business, they go out of business. That would regulate salaries. Stop adding teams, right? I mean, again, Rob Manfred continues to talk expansion. We don't need to add more teams. We don't need to further thin out the quality of starting pitching and, relief pitching in general. And continue to drive up salaries. If there were less teams and less jobs, the salaries would come down. Now, the union doesn't want to hear that either. But, I'd let that play out, quite frankly. We did start the top of the seventh here. One out now is Mexico. Who was that? Perez? That looked like Salvador Perez. Flight out to right. Left field. Interesting. What else is happening? Not a lot going on because of the WBC. Andrew McCutchen did agree to a deal with the Rangers, a minor league deal. He will not return to the Pirates. And I thought he would finish his career there where he started it, but that's not going to happen. Nolan McLean is getting over his vertigo and has joined Team USA, or is set to join them today. As I said, I believe he's slated to start the fourth game. And theoretically, if they get to a final, he would start the final, according to Mark DeRose as well, and assuming he's healthy. That's a lot of pressure on a young kid, and it'll be interesting to see how he performs. And hopefully, I know Met fans have bad visions of Edwin Diaz a few years ago getting hurt in this competition. Just don't worry about that, would you? Hunter Green, the Reds young pitcher, is scheduled to have a doctor look at his right elbow as he's experiencing some discomfort. Not a great way to start the spring if you're the Reds and Hunter Green. Also in baseball-related news, Mark Teixeira, former Texas, Atlanta, and Yankee World Series champion Mark Teixeira, won the GOP primary in Texas for a seat in the House of Representatives. So good luck to Mark Teixeira as he heads to the November general election. He won a landslide, actually. So good for him. He got 61% of the vote in the 21st congressional district and a 12-candidate field. Good grief. So he'll actually he's not in there. The former first baseman now will run as he is the Republican nominee. He's going to try to oust the incumbent Democrat Chip Roy. Actually, Chip Roy is leaving. He is the GOP representative now. He's leaving to become the Texas Attorney General, it looks like. So anyway, congratulations to Mark Teixeira there. What else is going on in the world of baseball? What do you guys got for me? I got people out here. How about we get some comments going on so we know whether you're interested? Hello, Ralph Williams. Good to see you. By the way, welcome to everybody. I didn't say welcome to the McGrath Podcast Network. You see the logo up there, and everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We thank the groups that are always allow us to share. You see some of our favorites at the bottom. John Gonzalez from the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings from America's Pastime, the Love for Baseball, Flo and Can. I shared their first podcast in a while last night. You got a chance to catch them on the TGI Sports Talk page. Check it out if you haven't seen it. You can certainly go back and scroll through that. Let's Talk Sports. Ken Krause over at Golf Bud Sports of All Sorts. And a special shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff. Ralph's got some big news on his page about new radio times for his Sports Corner show. I've appeared on the Tuesday edition that he does with Smokin' Jim Frazier. Ralph can, if you want to make a little announcement here, Ralph, what's going on there with your new radio show, you can certainly do that. And congratulations to you. What else? What else did we have going on here? I'm going to take a look at the uniforms, right? I should probably do this where I can share them, but Great Britain is ranked last, by the way, although they're a big improvement, I think, over last year's. I like this, and we got a couple guys wearing the red, white, and blue flag, if you will, on their glove. I like Chinese Taipei. They came in 19th, but I really like their interlocking CT and on the shirt and on the hat. I think it's excellent. Not crazy about Nicaragua, who comes in 18. It's kind of dull. It's just kind of dull. And by the way, Dusty Baker is managing the Nicaraguan team. They're like a 500-1 underdog here. Panama, not bad. Again, a basic red and white and a bluish kind of color, gray pants. I like the look. The cap with a simple P, kind of like it. Brazil, a little boring to me. Interesting, they use the S instead of the Z. Colombia with an odd little color combination. I don't like the yellow hat so much, quite frankly. Italy, boring. Always boring. Simple I on the cap, and I don't know. Can't get excited. Korea with a cool K. I think a really cool K on their cap. And I like the way they do the K with a little bit of a lightning bolt, if you will, or a flare at the top of the K. Kind of cool. Venezuela, I like a lot as well. I like the emblazoned Venezuela across the chest. Well done. Cuba, classic look for Cuba. A lot of these uniforms look similar. The Netherlands looks like a slow pitch softball team. Sorry, I'm not buying it. The cap with the crown. It looks like you're playing softball for a local Burger King. Just not a big fan of the Netherlands look here at all. Australia also lacking big time. Israel, not bad. The star on the cap, simple as Israel across the chest. Not too bad. Puerto Rico, I've always liked the Puerto Rico. The interlocking PR on the cap looks good. Puerto Rico emblazoned across the chest. Dominican Republic. I kind of have liked those. It's funny how they kind of have the interlocking DR backwards from where you would think they would have it. They have the R and the D, the R on top and the D kind of off to the side and interlocking. Not a bad look for Dominica. USA, I love it. I love the USA across the chest, the S all in red, white, and blue at the bottom. The cap is awesome. As I said, I ordered my cap the other day. Fitted cap. Wasn't cheap, but felt it was time to get one. Great uniforms. Not number 5 in this listing. No way. Number 1. Canada ranked above them. They're okay. I think the Canada gets lost on the jersey a little bit. Czechia, no, I can't do it. Japan, nice pinstripes. I like the number under the Japan on the front of the jersey. Always like that kind of look. Small number, just good look. I like the blue and the blue pinstripe. Looks good. Mexico, always very colorful with their green and red and white. I kind of like the look. Number one, call me, an ugly American. I'll take the USA's uniforms. So there you got my annual review of the WBC uniforms. So it's a slow day. We're still 1-1 here, by the way. And also, I believe that the Netherlands and Venezuela went final. It was 6-2 as the final there. Anything of note to kind of look at here in this game? Ron Lacuna, 1 for 4 in this game. Ariza, 1 for 3. William Contreras, 2 for 4 in this game for Venezuela. Willie Abreu, AC loves him for the Red Sox, thinks he's a potential Hall of Famer. He was 2 for 4 today. Good game for him. 11 hits for the Netherlands. I'm sorry, for the Venezuela. And Netherlands gets just 4 hits on the day. A couple of the bigger names there. Didi, former Yankee, goes 0 for 3. Shoop 0 for 1. How did Profer, the younger Profer, did not play in this game? What's up with this guy with just numbers for his name, by the way? Very interesting. And again, no pitchers going really deep. Kelly goes 3 innings for the Netherlands. Ranger Suarez starts for Venezuela, goes just 2 innings. So interesting stuff. To me, it's interesting. I'm not saying this is for everybody. What else did we want to look at here today? USA, the favorites, by the way. Hello, JB. Good to have you with us. JB's with us from the Back It Up Binge podcast. We've just been talking some WBC. Don't know, how are the Orioles represented, by the way? I know there's like 10 Yankees here. I'm not sure about the Dodgers. I know the Dodgers have a bunch of players. Kershaw, actually, a retired Dodger on the USA roster, is kind of cool. I don't know how the Orioles might be represented here. But certainly love to know what you're thinking. Just Gunner, that's it. Just Gunner for the U.S. Nobody on any of the foreign countries anywhere. Interesting. I hope it's interesting. My boy Aaron Boone, who we all know and I love and adore, was asked whether, and they call him the ejection king. Aaron Boone's been kicked out for arguing balls and strikes more than any manager I can think of in recent memory. He's not quite Earl Weaver, but he's been known to really get into it a few times with umpires. Again, not the old Billy Martin, Earl Weaver, Lou Piniella type tirades, but he's been ejected a bunch of times. The question is going to be, is anybody going to get ejected again with the ABS system here? And I know, JB, we had an interesting little back and forth last week about not just the ABS, because I don't have an argument there anymore, but about instant replay in general. I don't have a problem with instant replay. I have a problem with being bastardized the way it has been. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, we thought with the introduction of instant replay into baseball, more and more, that we'd see less, and I guess we probably have seen less ejections, but it isn't like we've seen none. I mean, we've seen quite a few. Mostly guys get thrown out for balls and strikes now, and are we ever going to get ejections ever again anymore? I mean, last year Aaron Boone actually got thrown out for not. He got thrown out for not even saying a word in a game last year because somebody from the stands had heckled him. JB did have so Dean Creamer's pitching for Israel. Tyler O'Neill, I did know, was with Canada, and prospect Enrique Bradfield with Panama, who, as we said, got beat today. Or I'm sorry, did they win? No, I don't remember. I think maybe they won. They got beat by Cuba, I think, right? Isn't that what they said? Yeah, Panama loses 3-1 to Cuba today. So keep an eye on Bradfield. Great talent. Did he play at all today? Let's see. By the way, we're in the top of the 8th. Mexico and Great Britain still tied 1-1. Are they using, and maybe you guys know, I'm assuming they're using the ABS system here. I haven't seen it called. Well, if they didn't, they should use it. I'm going to guess they don't have it because that pitch was about 6 inches outside and nobody challenged it. So I'm going to say there's no ABS in the WBC. So JB has us watching out for Bradfield. Let's see, did he play today? He played center field, went 0 for 2, and was replaced by pinch hitter Bethencourt late in that game. So 0 for 2 for Brady. We'll keep an eye on him. We like talking about prospects. So we've talked to WBC. We've talked salary cap a little bit. JB has been in some of these discussions with us as well. And Danny, who's with us, certainly we are not in favor of caps. I'm in favor of a basement. It's funny, I end up talking myself into a corner with this sometimes with JB. I think I got to get my lawyer involved. I feel like he's lawyering up on me here because he catches me a little bit, with some views that are a little diametrically opposed, right? I say that owners ought to be forced to spend X amount of money, which I just talked about with the floor. I know that we talked about free market system and, guys shouldn't be forced to spend it. If they want to run their team into the ground and have it go out of business, I guess they should be allowed to do it. And maybe that's the way it needs to work. Maybe we don't need a floor either, but we can't just have these teams. Can we? I don't know. We talked about it before. All these teams at the bottom of the rung are all making money. So it wasn't an insult. My wife's a lawyer, so I using the term lawyered up on me, just because, you obviously have a much different background than I have when it comes to looking at the numbers, right? I think they should do some forensic accounting with some of these teams, how we cannot be spending any money and making the most money, making the most profit. All these teams at the bottom of the rung are all making money. So again, should we allow them just to do that and put out horrible product? And I don't know. I'm not really sure. I talked myself into a corner when it comes to, this. Maybe I should stop talking about salary caps in general. I mean, there was a time I was in favor, but why? I mean, I don't believe anybody should be. Whoa. I don't think anybody should be restricted in the amount that they can earn. So I can't get away. I don't mean to. I never would insult you like that, JB. I apologize. My wife's not listening, hopefully. Before I met my wife, I didn't hold lawyers in such great regard either. Talk baseball. I dusted off ball. It's funny. I've got Ball 4 is a great book. I'm glad you brought it up. It's, I believe, is this the 50th? Can't be. Is it 50th anniversary of Ball 4? No, he wrote that Maybe it's the 55th. I thought I saw somewhere. I was on probably my Kindle and looking through books that I might like, right? And I've read Ball 4 about 4 times, 5 times maybe. Great book. First book of its kind, tell-all book. And Jim Bouton got a lot of heat for that, telling stories out of school. But if you read that book now, and you think it's kind of tame with things that have come after, even 40 years ago when we're talking about the Bronx Zoo, Sparky Lyle, Balls, which I think was Greg Nettles, tell all. These guys went a lot further, I think, than Jim Bouton went. But at the time, nobody was writing these tell-all books and talking about Mickey coming in hungover and the greenies in the clubhouse and everything else. But Ball 4 is a great, great book. And Jim Bouton basically, ostracized himself from baseball with it. Great book, though. Glad you brought it up. Hello, Scott Kobe. How are you? Bouton had some good things to say about Mantle, but equally negative things as well. Yes, he did have some good things to say. Listen, again, JB, you can give me your opinion. Anybody can. I'm assuming you guys have all read Ball 4. And it's worth a reread. I may reread it myself. I think that's one book I still have in book form. I don't have a lot of books in book form anymore. I donated them all when we moved a couple of years ago, 3 years ago now. And I do all my reading, most of my reading on a Kindle. Now and again, I'll get somebody who will send me a book, right, if we're pushing it. I've got Randy Lurch's book. I've got a couple other guys' books here. By the way, here's a great book. Do you want a really fun book to read, if you can find it? Because I go to this every now and again. I'll try to get this guy on the show sometime. Rob Neyer's big book of baseball lineups. This one's really cool, by the way, because it goes through like every franchise, and they'll have an all-time lineup, and most of them have 2 teams. I'll have a single season greatest lineup, all rookie lineup, homegrown lineup, traded away lineup, Gold Glove lineup, Iron Glove lineup. I haven't gone through this book, and all bust. Used to be great. All name. It was funny because the Tigers, Larry Sorensen, who I've had on the show a bunch of times, talking about his career and also about college football. There's a comment in here in the Detroit Tigers, either the Tigers or the Brewers. I don't remember which, whether it was about Frank Larry, who spells his name L-A-R-Y, his last name, and that's how Larry's first name is spelled, only one R. And they contributed Larry Sorensen's spelling of his name to the his parents being fans of the Tigers, which they were. That's where he grew up. But he said that had nothing to do with why he has no R in his name. That's a great book, though. Check it out if you haven't seen it. I love the old-time baseball books. They're very historical. I've still got that, and I've got another one like an encyclopedia of baseball around here somewhere. Oh, it's under my laptop tower. This one's really cool, though. Check out that, again. It's by Rob Neyer, and you could probably get it on Kindle if you wanted to. Maybe I'll look for it, because this is really, I'm going to get this book out. This book spent a lot of time in the reading room, if you catch my drift, because it's a great book to just pick up and you kind of go to your favorite team, like Baltimore, for instance. JB has entries in here for Baltimore, and I think also a separate one for the St. Louis Browns. But they have an all-time team. Let me see if you agree with this at all. Here's their all-time. Remember, this book was put out, by the way, in I was looking, probably the early 2000s, if not before. I've had this book forever, as you can tell by the dog-eared pages on it. I'm trying to see if there's a year in here. Copyright 2003. So Let me give you the Baltimore Orioles all-time lineup. This is as of 2003, so keep that in mind. Harold Baines is a DH. Rick Dempsey is a catcher. Eddie Murray at first base. Bobby Grich at second base. Cal Ripken at shortstop. Brooks Robinson at third. Left field, Brady Anderson. Center field, Paul Blair. Right field, Frank Robinson. The pitching staff, starting pitchers, Palmer, Mussina, McNally, Cuellar, and the reliever would be Greg Olson. I would put Ken Singleton above Harold Raines, by the way, at DH. Otherwise, I don't know that I got a lot of argument there. Mexico just went ahead 4-1, by the way, here in the top of the eighth. So it looks like the Brits are going to go down. Interesting, though. So that gives you an idea. By the way, they also have some other. Let me see if I can give you a couple. Oh, I got on this. I guess we'll kill a few minutes talking about this, JB, and your Orioles team. Because this is the only time I get to chat with you. Let me give you another homegrown, the best homegrown players. Don Baylor at DH, Etchebarren at catcher, Eddie Murray at first, Grich second base, Ripken, Robinson, Boog Powell in left field. He must have played left field early in his career. Steve, so they get a little liberal with some of these positions. Steve Finley in center field, Tito Francona, that's Terry Francona's dad, in right field. Jim Palmer, starting pitcher, and Armando Benitez would be the catcher. I'm sorry, the relief pitcher. Geez, sorry about that. And then you go to all rookie, traded away, Gold Glove, Iron Glove. Iron Glove is one of my favorites. Used to be great. All bust. There's some really cool. Then they have a little article about. There's also little sidebars on each one of these pages. It's really, really a cool book. Again, check it out. Rob Nair is the author, and it's the big book of baseball lineups. It's really kind of cool. I'm going to leave that out so I don't lose track of it. I have a lot of fun with that stuff. Gonna look for that book. It's really, you'll like it a lot, JB, I can tell you. Again, some of it's a little dated because it's from 2003. Maybe there's an updated version. So if you do look and you find an updated version, let me know. I'm actually going to look for it on Kindle tonight. Yeah, Baines out, Singleton in. Did you have any trouble with any of those other ones I ran off? I can't think of anybody else with the all-time greats that makes sense. I mean, I love it, the different way they break these lineups out, right? Homegrown and traded away. Some good stuff. Some really good players on the Yankees traded away less, I can tell you. So anyway, that took up some time. Sorry about that. Where's Scott? Did I lose Scott? Oh, Belanger. Yeah, Belanger can't beat out. Oops, sorry about that. Belanger can't beat out Ripken, right? I mean, I believe he's their Gold Glove. Hold on, let me go back there again. I gotta believe he's on the Gold Glove. Yeah, Belanger makes their Gold Glove lineup. The Gold Glove lineup for Baltimore is Rick Dempsey, Tony Muser, Roberto Alomar at second base, Belanger at short, Brooks obviously, Anderson left, Blair in center, Joe Ursulak in right, and Mike Mussina. Iron Glove, Earl Williams is the catcher. Can't argue with that one. Randy Milligan, Delino DeShields at second, Melvin Moore at short, Wayne Gross. These are some really clankers here. Kurt Belfry, Larry Harlow, Larry Sheets in the outfield, and Greg Olson at pitcher. Some interesting stuff there. Yeah. You may not have heard of him. Come on, I know you're kidding me, I hope. Ursulak is a Parsippany, New Jersey native. Did not know that. Brady Anderson, who I love now with the Angels as a coach. Think about that 50. Yeah. Is that one of the great, well, not great, but that's one of the more interesting one-off seasons in the history of baseball, I would say. Some interesting stuff. Mussina. I think you have a problem because of where Mussina went afterwards, right? And how he pitched, maybe. Just saying. Just saying, my friend. I got worried last week that I pissed you off about our little replay discussion. Mussina was on the you missed that. Mussina's on the all-time list. He is one of the starting pitchers, yes. Let me go back. On the all-time list, he's starting pitcher number 2. Palmer's 1, Mussina, McNally, Cuellar. Mussina makes several lists. He makes the he doesn't make the single season list. That's Jim Palmer. They only pick one. He made the Gold Glove list. He did make the homegrown list. That was Jim Palmer. Traded away Kurt Schilling. You all traded away Don Baylor, Mickey Tettleton, Mike Epstein, Davey Johnson. Only had one really good year after he left. Did hit 40 home runs. That's an interesting career aberration, too. Davey Johnson hitting 40 home runs in a launching pad in Atlanta. Shortstop Ron Hansen, Doug DeCinces traded away third baseman. Lou Piniella started his career with the Orioles. People forget. Steve Finley, Frank Robinson, and Schilling and Jose Mesa. This has turned into the Baltimore Orioles show here. Brady Anderson couldn't do that with the Sox. No, Brady Anderson had that one. Brady Anderson was a good player, really good defensive player, and a decent bat. That 1 year, though, I mean, I'd like to see what kind of drug testing was being done then. I think none. Who's the Yankees lineup and staff? And remember, this is 2003, so let me find where are the Yankees? DH, Don Baylor. Don't know if that holds up till today. Catcher Yogi. First baseman Garrett. Second base Lazzari. Shortstop, even at 2003, was Derek Jeter. Greg Nettles at third base, no argument there. Left field, Charlie Keller. I'd like to get Roy White in this thing somewhere. I think he came up on this second team. Roy White came up on. Mantle in center. DiMaggio doesn't make the team, the first team. Babe Ruth and right. Whitey Ford, Red Ruffing, Ron Guidry, Lefty Gomez, and Mariano Rivera. Mo still stays there. Obviously, there could be some changes. I think Andy Pettit would probably make this. I don't know. Not sure if Pettit cracks this lineup or not. If he'd stayed a Yankee forever, I think he might have cracked this lineup. How about the all traded away? This should be interesting. Cliff Johnson at DH. Muddy Rule, I don't recognize the name at catcher. Fred McGriff at first base, well known. Jerry Lumpy at second base. Gagne at shortstop. Mike Lowell at third base. You guys know him well in Boston. Lefty O'Doul. Willie McGee. Jackie Jensen, Lou Burdette, and Tippy Martinez. So we get a Baltimore Oriole. I might take Tippy over, maybe not. Tippy over Greg Olson. He's not there. Yeah, how's he going to beat out? He's on the second team. How's he going to beat out Garrett, Scott? You know, I love Donnie, but he's on the second team for the Yankees. I got to keep this book out. I love this book. Sometimes I forget. I have things that I forget I even have them. Yeah, Mattingly's second team. Where are you going? You got to play him. You can't put guy. Even DiMaggio. Look at. Even DiMaggio makes a second team on the Yankees. Some great pitchers on there. Reggie's on the second team. I don't know. He didn't play long enough. Tartable's the second team DH. Goose Gossage, a second closer. Pitchers are Reynolds, Lopat, Shockey, and Mel Stottlemyre. You know what? This second team is pretty good. Right off at second base. I'd go to war with that team too. Guidry's my favorite pitcher season of all time because those stats in 78, and also because him during the summer playing wiffle ball and stoop ball. I loved Guidry. I loved Guidry, and I wish he'd had more really, really good years. 1978 is my favorite season as a Yankee fan. Again, I'm 66 years old. So again, the Yankees were bad in my lifetime until the early 70s, right? And Guidry comes up he pitched a little bit in 76. Billy Martin didn't like Ron Guidry. He thought he'd never amount to anything. But 78 is my favorite Yankee season of all time. Down sorry, Scott. I know it's probably not a great memory for you, but down 14 and a half in July. Guidry winning. I mean, he had 25 wins that year, 25-3. And 21 of his wins followed a Yankee loss, which is remarkable. He had some great numbers striking out. He struck out 18 Angels in one game. Pitched the one-game playoff against Boston, which was a classic game. Won Game 3 with the Yankees down 3-0 in the 2-0 in the World Series, thanks to Greg Nettles and playing the best third base I've ever seen in my lifetime in Game 3 of the 78 World Series. 78 is my favorite baseball season of all time. Again, I think in the spirit of the lineups and the way he did them, he was trying not to put guys out of position, especially on the all-time teams. He played a little bit, if memory serves, like all rookies or the all-rookie lineup, like Boog Powell in left field. I think he played a little looser, but with the all-time teams, he wasn't putting guys out of position. He didn't put DiMaggio on the team. So I really can't argue. I mean, if you were going to play, if you had that team and you were going to play that team, well, then I think you'd play Garrick at DH and play Donnie at first base. When do you think these teams? Exactly? I mean, even the Red Sox, pretty damn good. Let's look quickly. Let's look quickly at the Red Sox for you, Scotty, since you're there participating. Here's your all-time team. Again, remember, as of 2003, DH Jim Rice. Fisk at catcher, Fox first base, Dower, Bobby Doerr, at second base, Nomar at shortstop, Wade Boggs, Ted Williams, Tris Speaker. Here's a great one. Yaz doesn't make this team. I got to put Yaz somewhere. Ted Williams, Tris Speaker, and Dwight Evans, Clemens, Martinez, Cy Young, Joe Wood, and Dick Raditz is the relief pitcher. Second string DH is Yaz. That's pretty close, man. You got to find a place for Yaz if you're playing this. But, I mean, to bench Fox? That's tough. Pretty good second team, though, too. Yaz, Shang, Vaughn, Runnels, Pesky, Collins, Yaz, Fred Lynn, Hooper, Grove, Parnell, Babe Ruth, Tiant, and Kinder. Interesting stuff. Yeah, even though you lost to the Yankees, you know, it's funny. I read a book, or had one of the books I had on Kindle that I kind of go back and forth with. Was it's called 1978. I think it's a recap of the season and like everything that happened in 1978 in the world, really. But one of the unsung things about, and people forget in that race, a contributing factor, a couple things. Bob Lemon came in as a manager after Billy resigned, and gave a really a calming influence on that clubhouse. And the fact that there was a writer's strike that entire summer, I think really helped the Yankees a lot. Newspaper strike in New York City. At that time. Gator 85 was good. He had some other good years, don't get me wrong. Nothing like 25-3. I mean, that's the best season in my lifetime. JB, I'm not sure. I think we talked about. I think you're younger than I am. I know Scott's. I don't know. Scott might be 8 or 10 years younger than me. I don't remember now. I think, but my lifetime, that's the best pitching season I've seen. So since well, again, I wasn't. Koufax had better years, right? I was a kid, didn't know what I was watching when I didn't get to see Sandy Koufax. What I've seen up close, and again, even in the 70s, we weren't seeing a lot of games like we are today. You can see every game. I don't remember a better season than what Ron Guidry did in 1978. Red Sox and Yankees ran baseball that year. And the Reds. Well, not 78. Reds and Dodgers beat the Reds out that year. So I think you might be talking about just about the Yankees and Red Sox. That's pretty damn good right there. That's not new metrics. People get on me sometimes because I hate some of the metrics we look at and focus on in baseball. Newer metrics, right? That is not a new metric. To me, that's a real important stat. That's the number of base runners basically you put on per inning. 1.18 is awesome. Fred Lynn doesn't make the team either. No, I mean you got some great players there in Boston. I mean, to bench Tris Speaker for Freddie Lynn, I doubt it. I mean, again, if you're going to play a game, I think you're finding a way to get Yaz in the lineup for sure. I don't know about Lynn with that lineup, but you'll figure something out. Great staff on that all-time team. 72. That's another good one. That's good. Good catch, JB. So I was 12, but I do remember that I've actually read a book about that season and Steve Carlton's efforts, which were just amazing. If I'm not mistaken, he won like 50. I think it's a record. He won like 50. That team was horrible, and he won. What did he win? 27 games. Is that right? Help me out. I think it's 27 games, which was like 58% of the total for the team or something. Tremendous. Dodgers and Yankees, those two World Series were in 77, 78 were just really, really good. A lot of fun. 78 still my favorite. And again, people forget. I always challenge people, man. Go back and watch Game 3 of the 1978 World Series and watch Greg Nettles literally save that game and probably the series for the Yankees, because they were down 2-0, come back to New York, and Guidry's getting rocked. He's walking the freaking ballpark, and he saved 5, some will argue 6 or 7 runs that night. And the Yankees won, I think, 5-3, something like that. They lose that game, they're probably not winning that series. A lot of fun. 27-10 for Carlton, and I believe that team only won about 55 games or something, didn't it? I can't do math, so my percentages don't hold me to what I just said as far as maybe it wasn't over 50% of the team's wins. That would have been 54. Well, they could have lost 108 games, I guess. Go back and watch every Yankee Red Sox game in 1978. That was baseball at its highest. There was some serious ups and downs, right? I mean, the Red Sox dominated the Yankees early in the year, but then as the season wore on, the Yankees just got in the Red Sox head. You remember the Boston Massacre, right? Where the Yankees just, absolutely destroyed the Red Sox in a 4-game series in Fenway in August. I think the Red Sox were still ahead. by maybe 3 or 4 games then. And the Yankees just came in and like just derailed them, outscored them by like 30 runs in 4 games. Just tremendous. They were all great. They had, and the Red Sox came back. People forget in 78. We got about 5 minutes left here, but people forget that, the Yankees overcame that 14.5 game deficit and went ahead by 2 or 3 games anyway, maybe 4 in September. And the Red Sox came back in September. They didn't quit. That was a scary team, man. I will tell you that I was scared right up until Yaz popped out to end that playoff game. Some great plays. People remember Dent's home run, right? Bucky F. and Dent. But there were some other great plays in that game. Lou Piniella makes a play that probably most likely saves the game, at least keeps it from being tied when he totally loses a ball in the sun, sticks out his glove, and somehow the ball one hops into his glove, and Jerry Remy has to stop at second base in a 1-run game. Great game. Yeah, a picture of Yaz leaning against the monster sticks in your head. I'm sure it does. That ball is an easy out, Yankee Stadium. Thanks for popping in, JB. Go USA tonight against Brazil. Opening game, Logan Webb. A lot of fun. I love this series, this tournament a lot. Thanks for popping in, JB, and thanks for getting me. I don't know how we got on this, but Rob Nair, you owe me some royalties here. I guess if you're rooting for a team that wasn't born before 2003, you're not going to get a lot out of this book. Run line tonight's 9.5 against Brazil. Is that for who? That's a total for both teams, or for the U.S.? The Brazil. Let me see. I got like 2 minutes to get this out. Who they got tonight? I want to see Brazil. I don't think I'm going to be overwhelmed by this roster. Not a lot of names on this roster. Not a lot of names on the pitching staff. Dante Pichette Jr. is one of the infielders. Yeah, I would have thought there'd be a couple more names on this Brazilian team, but not so much. But I'm going to tell you, this Great Britain-Mexico game is a great example of don't count anybody out, because there's some interesting some of these teams have improved a lot. U.S. is favored by 9.5 against Brazil. Gotcha. That's remarkable. If I wasn't rooting so hard for the USA, I'd be tempted to take the runs. Don't forget there is a mercy rule, and they aren't calling it that. I forget what they call it. It's much nicer than mercy rule. I believe if you're trailing by 10, if you're trailing by 15 after 6, it gets called. If you're up by more than 10 after 7, it gets called. So tonight as a can, and I get your autograph. Can I get your autograph game? Yeah, I agree. It'll be a lot of fun, though. Guys, we got to run. JB, Scott, Danny, thanks for popping in and participating. You guys who do not be afraid to speak up and say, hey, I got like 4 guys on X today. That's a lot. Good stuff. Good to have you with us as always. And we'll see you Sunday with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness, guys. It's been a lot of fun. You have a great day. Bye.